Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 30th of June 2022. My oh my, tomorrow will be halfway through the year. It seems like 2 seconds ago that I was making my first video of 2022 way back in early January there, and here we are now halfway through. It's incredible how quickly time flies when you're enjoying yourself, isn't it? A few bits of news. This video today is just going to be a bit of a quick fire thing with about 6 or 7 different items of news that I've come across, just with a few comments on each from me. So the first thing is London shopping trip on this Saturday, 2nd of July. It's been deferred from last Saturday, the 25th of June, because there was train strikes on that day. So what should have happened then is now happening in a couple of days' time, this Saturday, 2nd of July, at Hyde Park, kind of the Speaker's Corner end of Hyde Park. So if you're going to be there, I will see you there. And as always, feel free to come up and say hello. Yesterday I talked about how crazy expensive fuel prices were getting. Diesel is now sort of pretty much £2 a litre. Petrol is only about 10p less than that. And Lorraine's got a petrol car, and she said it cost her 70 quid to fill up. And when you consider that A, it's just a small economical car, it's nothing huge at all, and B, it was a quarter full still, so not even breathing on fumes or anything like that, so it still cost her that whopping amount. And it used to cost about £40 to fill up from that kind of sort of mark not too long ago. So I think it's a bit of a shock to her system, really. Right, I'm just going to whiz through some items of news here. Gelane Maxwell, her trial's just finished, and I see she's got 20 years for child trafficking, and sort of obviously no less than what she deserves. But I don't know if you've been following that case, but the most remarkable thing about it is the judge of that case has not revealed who she was actually trafficking children to. He's ordered that information to be kept quiet for an indefinite period. So that's in itself is very telling, isn't it? Because he'd hardly keep that information quiet if it's just Joe Blogs now, would he? So it does make you wonder who it was. Well, I think we can guess who we're talking about here, can't we? And I saw one post in my social media feeds a few days ago, a couple of days ago, whenever it was, and they were saying, well, you know, if the judge isn't going to release the names of who was actually getting these underage people, all we can do is just assume that every billionaire, every politician, every sort of head of any kind of major organisational company, and anyone else who has got lots of power and influence in society, which includes judges, by the way, we're just going to assume that you're all in on it until you release the names of the people who actually were into it. So, how do you like them apples? Anyway, moving on, I see that both Fauci and that idiot Jeremy Vine apparently have got the lurgy, and despite supposedly being either sort of tripled or even quadrupled in the case of Fauci, so he says, and yeah, despite that, they have got the lurgy, so they're obviously trying to ramp up that old narrative once again. And of course, it wouldn't occur to these geniuses to sort of think to themselves, if they actually have had, the triple or the quadruple, why are they actually coming down with the lurgy still? So, and I thought one thing that's quite interesting is if Fauci really has had the four of them, as he says he has, well, A, it means the thing doesn't work, but also B, interestingly, it means that he actually has had the things, and you would have thought that being way up there in the elites, or the top lackey for the elites at least, he would have been spared the thing. So it kind of makes you wonder what's going on there. Did he just get not the real thing, shall we say, or if he has had the real thing, are even people to his level kind of expendable? Maybe you want to comment on that. It's got me a little bit baffled personally. Let's have a look here. Anyway, moving quickly on, there's a Dr. Carrie Madday, and it looks like her surname's spelt Madej, but I think it's pronounced Madday. She is one of the very few doctors who has been speaking out against the whole nonsense and the treatments and all of the rest of it. One of the very few kind of top doctors in the world who is actually on our side. And apparently, I think it was I think the day before yesterday now, she was involved in a light air crash, and she has survived. I think she's going to survive, but she's in hospital having surgery, so probably sort of pretty well banged up by the sound of it there. And it is interesting how these people who speak out against the narrative seem to end up having accidents of one type or another. It kind of reminds me of the 4 African presidents of various different countries on that continent who have kind of met sticky ends, and the thing they all had in common was, again, they were speaking out about things going on. So what is going on there? Again, I'll leave you to conjecture on that. And just a couple of last things to round off. I saw a very interesting article about South Korea. Apparently, despite being one of the nations who were very keen on restricting freedoms to kind of make sure the lurgy didn't take off there, despite all of that, they've had a recent spike, which means that their sort of excess death rate now for covering the last couple of years or so is now the same as Sweden. So you've got one country who did the most sort of against the lurgy, and the other nation who did pretty much the least. And it's very interesting, isn't it, that their excess deaths are the same. So again, it kind of just proves that all of these measures just seem to make no difference whatsoever. And finally, very interesting bit of news. I don't know if you've come across this, but some birth rate figures have come out for a number of European countries. I think Germany is one of them. I can't remember what the other ones were, but there's about 3 or 4 or 5 European countries who have published their birth rates for the first 4 months of 2022. And it's very interesting when you compare the 2022 birth rate figures with those of the previous few years, including 2020 and 2021. They are down by about, in some cases, as much as 10%. I think it's anywhere between about sort of 5 to 10%. And yeah, I wonder what's happened in the last year or so, 18 months, that was so different from all of those other years beforehand. Can't quite think. Can you explain it? Anyway, so I've just been through a few points of news that caught my attention there. I thought they were all very interesting in their own way. And yeah, please let me know what you think in the comment section below there. I'll be back tomorrow. Tim from Fair Play Now. Thanks for watching.